Good morning, everyone. Greetings to Dean Galea, Secretary Southers, distinguished faculty, alumni, staff, and of course, my fellow graduates. And a huge welcome to our friends and family. It is an incredible privilege and honor to have been chosen to deliver the student address at the 2016 Boston University School of Public Health Convocation ceremony on behalf of my fellow classmates. I will say, however, that this is a slightly dubious honor. For one main reason, really. I've been caught publicly pairing red with salmon. Really. 2 years of trying to cultivate a strong fashion sense with matching pocket squares and ties and socks, gone in an instant. You know, I'm not one for conspiracy theories, but Dean Galea, is this your way of eliminating the competition? Not cool, bro, not cool. I suppose there is one upside, though, and it took a good friend of mine by the name of Cassie Susie to show it to me. There she is. You know what they say about salmon, right? Salmon swim upstream. I should stop that. Jokes aside, though, can you believe it? How are we graduating already? It seems like it was only yesterday we were in orientation, and Dean Cox would only call upon folks from Texas. So as you do, I pretended to be from Texas. Yes, Dean Cox, the kid who pretended to be from Texas, is delivering the student address. I don't know which one of us is more shocked at this point. So my journey to this point really begins about 9 years ago, when my family and I immigrated to the United States from Pakistan. Immigrating was a difficult experience. Due to the poor conversion rate between the dollar and the rupee, I became poor overnight. I did not have health insurance. I was living in the projects, albeit nice ones, and I was on free lunches in high school. You know, I was so grateful for those free lunches. I never questioned why the state of Indiana felt I was poor enough for a free meal, but not quite poor enough for Medicaid. I also was making excuses as to why I wouldn't try out for the school soccer team. I could not afford a routine physical. I am convinced that this is really the only reason why my name isn't being mentioned alongside soccer superstars Cristiano Ronaldo and Lionel Messi. It's not due to a lack of talent, believe me. We were poor, but not that poor. And I wish I could say the same thing about the people I met at the homeless shelters, the emergency rooms, and the free health clinics where I volunteered during high school and college. See, at least I had the privilege of a stable family, the privilege of caring friends, the privilege of having high school teachers who wanted to see me do well. Whatever little privilege I had hit me like a ton of bricks, and I realized that the only reason why I sat on this side of the table was due to nothing more than good fortune. I also learned a thing or two about unearned privileges, like not being discriminated against because of my gender and my sexual orientation. Why? Because I'm straight and I'm a man. I learned that what often appears as misfortune is frequently a symptom of systemic failures as opposed to moral failures. Take obesity, for instance. Sometimes obesity is not a consequence of poor choices, but due to a lack of choices. There's little you can do to eat healthy when the only place you can shop for food is the liquor store down the street. There is little you can do to be healthy when you can't go out and exercise because drive-by shootings are normal for your neighborhood. See, privilege blinds us from seeing these things. And there's nothing wrong with being privileged. We all have our privileges in this life. What is wrong, however, is choosing to be blinded by our privilege. When my blinders were ripped off, I turned to public health. And I know that this was the case for many of you. It brought me to Boston University's School of Public Health. BUSPH is, as I like to call it, the People's Public Health School. I think it's poignant that to reach SPH, one has to walk past the poorly termed methadone mile. That intersection between Albany and Mass Ave reminded us of our privilege every single day. for those of you who don't know what the methadone mile is, it is this derogatory term given to this stretch of Mass Ave that is frequented by individuals suffering from addiction and suffering from homelessness. As public health professionals, we are in the business of trying to save people from dangers that they sometimes don't even know about. And maybe that's why public health will never make us rich and why we'll probably go underappreciated for our efforts. I think most of us, however, see this as validation. In an era where a person's worth to society is determined more by what they have in the bank, we have adorned our consciences with a bold sign that reads, "Not for sale." At SPH, we have learned about the origins and epidemiology of viruses like Zika and Ebola. But perhaps more importantly, we have learned about the origins and epidemiology of injustice, racism, sexism, and oppression. I ask myself first, and then all of you, to never underestimate what we are capable of doing to each other and what we are capable of doing for each other. While we all have the capacity to hurt each other deeply, we also have the capacity to raise each other up and improve the world around us. See, I believe that public health is a moral enterprise. And either you believe that everyone deserves the right to be the healthiest that they can be, or you don't. Moral enterprises require activism. The beautiful thing about our differences is that we have different causes that we will choose to champion, and the crosses that we will have to bear as a consequence. Choosing not to be blinded by our privilege requires that we be activists for those who do not have those same privileges. For some of my colleagues in maternal and child health, you may choose to champion reproductive rights for all women. Those who oppose you will see their cause just as right as yours, and some of them will choose to call you baby killers. This is your cross to bear. For those of you in policy and management who believe that access to life-saving medication is a right for all people, being labeled anti-capitalist is your cross to bear. And for those of you in environmental and global health fighting for access to clean water for all people, even for those who can't afford it, being labeled socialist is your cross to bear. And for those of us in health law, ethics, and human rights who believe that torture is wrong no matter who commits it, being labeled anti-American is our cross to bear. And if we decry the wrongful police shootings of young African American men, then being labeled anti-cop is our cross to bear. But how will any of us know if our cause is right? The fact is we won't. Which is why recognizing our imperfections is key to public health and activism. Because when we get it wrong, the consequences can be severe. For us, the margins of error are very small. See, much of our work is built on data provided by our esteemed colleagues in biostatistics. But as we learn from our colleagues in social and behavioral sciences, data is open to manipulation, which is why I believe that while numbers can legitimize social movements, they cannot mobilize them. Only your passion, your righteous indignation, and radical compassion can do that. And what is radical compassion? Radical compassion is recognizing that in an unequal society, treating everybody equally leads to very unequal consequences. Radical compassion is not handing $1 to Joe the panhandler. No. Radical compassion is fixing the system that puts Joe on that corner day in and day out, despite his best efforts. Many of you are going to be future leaders, which is why I echo Dr. Cornel West's sentiments. You can't lead the people if you don't love the people. You can't save the people if you don't serve the people. SPH is a special, special place. It has provided us with the tools that we need to champion those causes that we feel strongly about. It has ripped away our blinders, and now we realize that with great knowledge comes great responsibility. And this is not our burden, but our great privilege. And I encourage us all to recognize our privilege, to use it, and then leverage it for a better world. Today, I have talked a lot about privilege, and I have one more privilege that I would like to acknowledge today, and that is the privilege of being able to learn from each and every one of you. None of us got here on our own. We were pushed and prodded along the way by those who care for us, and I assume many of them are here today. I know I would not be here without my beloved friends and teachers in the Center for Health Law, Ethics, and Human Rights. I want to specifically acknowledge the two Jens in my life, Brian, Cassie, Odette, Gina, Jesse, and Quinn, and of course, Professors Mariner, Groden, Roach, Annis, Glantz, Crosby, and Professor Cox. You all complete me. Moreover, I would not be here without three very special people. My mother, my father, and my brother. Oh wait, my mother, my father, and my brother. There we go. There's three of them, I know that. My mother especially, to whom I attribute just about everything that's right in me and really worth a damn. I may have added MPH to the end of my name today, Mom, but being your kid is my greatest privilege. And with that, congratulations, class of 2016. Congratulations to you, your friends, and your families. You have a degree from the Boston University School of Public Health. And once that sinks in, I cannot wait to see what you all do. Thank you.